So I want to start this video with a disclaimer, and what it is, I'm not trying to attack or to belittle Quentin Tarantino in any way, and if it comes across like that, that is not my intention whatsoever. What I'm actually trying to do is to fully understand why Quentin Tarantino is making a Star Trek movie. Now this is a seminal movie for Quentin Tarantino, and that's because it will actually be his final movie. So you'd think that somebody like Quentin Tarantino, one of the greatest directors of all time, will want to go out on a big bang. He will want to make an indelible, long-lasting mark on Hollywood. Just like Pulp Fiction did, he will want to make a game-changing mark on the future of Hollywood with this movie. But this is one of the key things that confuses many fans both of Star Trek and Quentin Tarantino, and that is that the Star Trek franchise is actually struggling. So Star Trek Into Darkness came out and that made $467 million at the box office, but Star Trek Beyond only made $342 million. So the Star Trek franchise is actually struggling, and that's what confused many fans why he would want to make a movie, especially his final movie, a Star Trek movie, because it's very risky. This movie could flop at the box office and only make $300 to $400 million, which isn't a lot of money for a big budget movie like Star Trek. So Quentin Tarantino is taking on a big risk. If this is going to be his final movie, he won't want to go out on a whimper. He will want to make a big impact and make a movie that has a long lasting impact on Hollywood. And the key reason for that is Quentin Tarantino actually appears quite jaded towards Hollywood. So he's made a number of statements in recent years attacking Hollywood. Now one of his most famous is that he openly attacked CGI. So he said, "This CGI bullshit is the death knell of cinema. If I'd wanted all the computer game bullshit, I'd have stuck my D in a Nintendo." So he obviously dislikes CGI. Now the only time that Quentin Tarantino does use CGI, and what he later went on to clarify is, the only time you're allowed to use CGI is where you would kill the actor if he did the stunt for real. So Quentin Tarantino is saying that he would only use CGI to maintain the health and safety of the actor or the stunt double. And that is quite legitimate and quite logical. So if Tarantino does go on to make a Star Trek movie and use CGI, that would actually be quite hypocritical to what he said before. And again, if you remember, this will be his final movie, so he won't want to go out on any hypocritical or negative points. He'd want to be remembered as somebody who stood by what he said and followed what he believed. Now he's also openly attacked Disney, so he said they effed me over and I made them a lot of money for Pulp Fiction, and that is a really bad way to treat a former employee who's worked very well for them. So this relates to Disney, who tried to block Tarantino's movie The Hateful Eight being released in a particular cinema, and Quentin Tarantino made Pulp Fiction that was released by Miramax, and at the time Miramax was owned by Disney. So Tarantino did make Disney a lot of money, yet Disney later went on to try and stifle his career and affect the release of his movie. So that is why he openly attacked Disney. So Quentin Tarantino will ultimately be going out trying to make a great movie, and he is a fan of Star Trek, but I believe he does have a hidden agenda, and he will want to change and deconstruct the typical Disney blockbuster, because he's not going to use CGI. He's going to make a movie that will make a lot of money at the box office without CGI, and he's going to try and prove that Disney don't need to use CGI, and instead they should actually focus on the story. Because that is Quentin Tarantino's key belief, that all movies should be based on the essential story, and the effect should be secondary. Yet Disney almost opposite to that. They throw CGI into their movies, then focus on the story. So Quentin Tarantino is going to use Star Trek to deconstruct what people believe a good quality blockbuster movie to be. And in that process, he's actually going to recreate the big budget cinema experience. So instead of having big budget movies laden with CGI, he's actually going to change that concept and belief and ensure that going forward, blockbuster movies are based on stories and actually use very little CGI technology. So I believe that Quentin Tarantino does actually have a hidden agenda towards Star Trek, and it's not a typical movie. And the reason is this is a very different movie to what Quentin Tarantino has made before, and it'll also be his final movie. So this is his chance and his big opportunity to leave a big impact on the future of Hollywood. Now he has changed Hollywood with Pulp Fiction, but he's going to want to do it again. He's going to want to make a difference to the points that he's quite jaded towards, the use of CGI and the way that big companies like Disney can treat small independent companies. So for me, this is the key factor of why Quentin Tarantino is looking to make a Star Trek movie. He has an agenda to change the way Hollywood operates in the future. Now if you agree or disagree, if you'd like to make any comments, please leave them below, and also like and subscribe. But for me, Star Trek is not a typical movie by any means, and Quentin Tarantino's motives for making this movie are very different to his previous movies. So again, if you agree or disagree, please leave your comments below, and also like and subscribe.